We have a fairly light agenda tonight. Hopefully, I'm hoping we could wrap up by 8 p.m. How does that sound to people?
That or sooner, it's good for me.
Great. Great. Yeah, we only have two placards that came in. One came in today. Um, and then we have just mostly kind of the administrative stuff talking about the tavern licenses for the fall.
Stephen, I think we only need three members. Am I correct for quorum? Three committee members? But I think we have four, which I think is definitely quorum.
Yay.
Oh, there we go.
There we go. Hey, Alex, thanks for joining. Thanks for making our quorum.
Good to be here.
And Eileen responded to an email earlier today, so I think she might be coming in. But yeah, do we, Karen Lee, do we know about that rule, about the quorum? Three,
How many are on your roster officially?
let's check it out. Two. Well, not including, I never know if to include myself in
I
that.
don't think it includes you, but I could be wrong.
Okay. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Without including me. I think that's quorum.
I think you're good.
All right. All right. Yay. All right. Well, let's do roll call. Commissioner Hanrahan, present. Alex Smith.
Present.
Present. Stephen Rutgers. Smiling. Ms. Rachel Scheckman.
Here.
Eileen Johnson, she may come. Miss Karen Gall.
Present.
Ashley Fields. Frank Chauvin. Present. All right, I'm counting, including myself, 5, but even without me, 4. So I believe we have a quorum. Meeting will start at 7:19 p.m. Beautiful. Okay. Hope everyone is having a good summer. Staying out of places in the country that are flooding. Seems like every place is flooding. Even DC is we've had so much rain. Yeah, I was just saying, but I think we have a fairly light agenda tonight. I think this is kind of the calm before the fall storm with the tavern renewals. We've only had two placards that come in. Both were for a either a substantial change or a request for a summer garden. Does anyone have the agenda in front of them? By the way, I know I sent it out, but I think there was just an update with the last placard sauced. Does everyone have it in front of them? We're looking at them. We want me to share screen.
Would you mind sharing?
Okay, sure. This one would be it. Okay. With a quorum of 4 the members to be started. Yeah, so it's a fairly light agenda tonight. Kind of an active protest update on half smoke. Then we just kind of have a little bit of just administrative items. You know, nod to the meeting time. And then also the kind of the prep for the tavern licenses in the fall. We don't have any new licenses. We have 2 licenses for substantial changes. We have Unity, 1836 9th Street Northwest. It's a change in hours placard. And we also have Sauced, which is a request for a summer garden. And we'll tackle that more in the new business section. Frank, your hand is raised. You're on mute if you're speaking.
Can you please add to, I know it's not an active protest, but it's an update on the sliced and brewed?
That's right. That's right. These
License?
were some of the other items.
Yes.
And yeah. So okay. That's pretty well. Sliced and brewed. Also, we had lifted. Great. Any other quick items? Okay. We're jumping into it. Half Smoke. Commissioner.
I'm sorry, Chair, Chicha Lounge. Is there an update on that? Has the ANC protested it?
That's a great question as well. Yeah, let's add that here. I was actually looking at them today and actually not quite sure what the update is, but we will add that to the agenda as well. Thank you. And then we can even bring up our tracking sheet. Where is that? We have that available too. We'll keep it. Everyone has access to the tracking sheet, is that correct? Let's see if I can bring it up quickly as well.
I have a tracking sheet. I was just checking mine. I have a July one, and then I was looking at, I saw I had an older version of one. So I was just looking at both sheets, but it's rather tiny. I don't know if it's gonna share well.
Okay.
Screen, but I would suggest you share whatever it is that we're looking at for today's meeting, if that's okay.
Yeah, we bring that one up too. Okay.
Karen, our admin, just said she's going to put a link in the chat, so that would probably satisfy everybody's
That would be helpful as well.
need.
And did you get
oh,
a list of, I'm sorry, did you get a list of the violation notices for any of the ones that we're going to be reviewing today?
that's right, Ms. Call. Yes, we always have the investigative history that's done prior.
So you have done that?
Yes, Miss Karen Lee, our administrative staff, does a great job.
Okay, excellent.
Okay, all right. Jumping into it, yes. So Half Smoke, they are closed. Commissioner Fay moved to attend a meeting. As a result of this attendance, the applicant did not attend the meeting. Therefore, they lost their standing. The restaurant's closed, so I believe the matter is completed. So win for Half Smoke. Mr. Chauvin, right?
Just a quick question. This gets in the weeds, but has the license been canceled, or do they have the right to move it, to transfer it? That's if you wouldn't mind checking in on that, I'd appreciate it. And that's all I have to say. But I think it gets complicated because can they move it, or have they lost their rights because they didn't show at the I believe it was a show cause hearing or something to that effect?
Great. Okay. Good question. Yeah, anyway, I'll try to follow up with that. The other 3 were, yeah, the ANC at the last commission meeting voted to support 2 settlement agreements. One was with Lifted Essentials. This was a new I just forget if they're called medical marijuana, but basically, yes, a medical cannabis dispensary. I should get the real proper term down. I think it's a cannabis dispensary. That daycare protested. The daycare withdrew their protest. The commission was in touch with the daycare, and we went forward with the settlement agreement with them. So happy to have that settlement agreement on file. The other one was Slice and Brewed, which is actually changing their name to the DC Terrace. And they, I believe, just signed on. We still have to file the agreement to ABCR. We're waiting for Commissioner Barrio's signature. There's a little bit back and forth there. But I think we're kind of happy that they kind of signed on to this settlement agreement. This was they inherited a license that has operating hours until 5 a.m. They really kind of discussed that they were moving towards a brunch menu, a restaurant kind of brunch business model. They actually were the children of their parents had bought the property and then had the license for 30 years or 40 years or something like that, on 9th Street, 1915. And they kind of said that they felt that, yeah, like 9th Street, that block is really inundated with a lot of bars and lounges and clubs, and they felt that actually having a kind of more of a trying to attract a clientele in the daytime, the morning, was actually a better business model. So and it was well made, and the people that were really nice. And then they agreed to sign on to this settlement agreement that actually I think had hours restricted of 3 a.m. in the evenings, which is earlier than 5. And we're happy about that. I will send that around once we finally HAPCA gives the stamp that they've received it. Mr. Chauvin.
Yes. So in the settlement agreement, Mr. Chair, did they agree to move back their operating hours from their licensed operating hours, which are allowed till 5 a.m., to 3 a.m. on the weekends and 2 a.m. on the weekdays, or is it 3 a.m. every day? But just to, I mean, we can get the details later, but just there is a provision in the settlement agreement signed by the commission, that sets the operating hours back to 3 or 2 a.m., one of those two. Is that correct?
That is correct. Yeah, I'm trying to bring it up now.
Okay. And then my second question is, was there any change on their request to operate their exterior summer garden hours? And did they move at all? Because that's an important issue for a neighborhood that's deeply under chaos, disorder, crime, and
Okay.
there are adjacent residences right behind there. So I am sort of a quiet voice on their
Okay.
behalf.
Keeping things things moving. Yeah. So to answer your question, yeah. So sharing the screen now. So interior hours of operation. So yes, we were actually able to they were agreeing to 2 a.m. on week nights, 3 a.m. on weekends for total hours of operation, which is more extent than their placard, which is so we're pretty happy about that. And then their interior hours for alcohol is an hour before that as well. And kind of in exchange for this, their actually original placard said that their hours of operation started at 10 a.m. So I think their request for their summer, there was actually a discrepancy where I guess their summer garden hours, they wanted 9 a.m. to start. So we said, hey, we're happy to have you guys start at 8, and we'll give you the summer garden hours really in exchange for these more quiet hours and the fact that the summer garden ends at, seeing some PMs here. All right, just gonna quickly change that. And then the fact that the summer garden is ending at 12 is something that I think seemed amendable based on the community feedback. Do some live entertainment. But
Chair, I have a question if you don't mind.
yes,
I'm looking through this tracking sheet and I know that I specifically made the request to ensure that we have any notices of infractions slash violations posted alongside of their information. And I'm not seeing that,
yes,
or it's not something that I'm able to click on. And I requested this to, be prior to us having
okay.
meetings. And
Yeah, let's check it. So there's a couple things going on, and there's always kind of sometimes it's hard with the Zoom because I don't know exactly what you guys are seeing, and try to share information. But basically on the agenda, it's on the agenda. We scroll down to the placards. We do include the investigative report underneath the placard. And then so here you can click on this link, hyperlinked, which is an amazing job, to kind of give the investigative report of what's come up from the public records of ABCA, right? So this doesn't include noise violation, noise complaints. This includes things that kind of went before the board of ABCA, for these items here. But yes, this is available in the agenda.
okay, so let me just be very clear. I know it's normally like a listing, and that's what I was thinking that was going to be associated. Um, just like we were able to pull up the settlement agreements, I just thought it was going to be a plug-in that we can actually visualize, not your summarization of things, so we can
Hmm.
see what it said about each one of the establishments. Because generally, the listing would let us know
Yeah.
occurrences and what was the result of those occurrences. And I think that this is not a great way for us to get a full scope of what's happening with these establishments by just that little one liner.
Are you not able to click on this, Ms. Gall?
On your actual, I'm going to go to the agenda. I guess I'll have to go back in my email for
Yeah,
the agenda. But
yeah,
in general, I just think that if it's on the tracking sheet, it allows everything to be all in line
yeah,
as what we're expecting. And maybe I wasn't clear on the clarification as to what, we were sort of expecting.
yeah. The thing about the tracking sheet is there's a lot of information on here, right? You have Hopper
And
numbers,
which is
Clagger
why I
posted.
was thinking that everything should be contained in that one sheet. That way we're not hopping from one place to the next. If everything is in one sheet, it's easier for us to just pull it up when we need to.
Okay. We could, yeah, that's noted feedback. Thank you. We'll try to also just kind of, you know, I think just vocalize kind of where the information is. And also, I think, we're doing a great job here of trying to get these investigative reports, but um these is everything, this is all public record. So, any committee member can go to the ABCO website, and we can even do that right now. We can walk through that process. I think I have it up still. Um, so if anyone hasn't been here before, this is the Alcohol, Beverage, and Cannabis Administration uh basic website here. You go home. Um, so it's not a great tool, but just to quickly walk through it to kind of show that everyone has access to it and can pull anything for any specific place themselves. Because this actually will be really helpful, especially with the tavern licenses coming on. Where do I go? I think it all brings you to the same place. Settlement agreements or search records basically brings you to what they call their portal. Settlement agreements. Okay, online search tool. This is it. Online search tool. Um, and I don't include dates. I believe we've heard from them that it goes back until, we thought it was 3 years, but apparently it might be 8 years or something. So it's not, the entire history, but it's through a short period of time. And the biggest thing that I have learned to do when searching here is changing the type. It always puts it as abstract, but you can put it as any. So it kind of pulls in everything. And then you have keyword terms. So then you kind of, take the placard, unity. And so, it's not perfect, right? So if you go to, unity here, apply, gives you some stuff like this, some transcript, right? So this is, and there's every time it comes up, this is different things that come up for stuff. This is, but we grabbed this one, which was an order approving the offer and compromise, which is kind of showing their infraction before the board. Approves, okay, the violation, and it kind of gives you some of this information about the respondent received a warning, there's a charge, it sometimes doesn't exactly tell you, what happened. There's a fine, violating the code, a primary tier. So it doesn't exactly say what that code is, but it gives you just a general sense of kind of the atmosphere and stuff like that. But yeah, I really encourage, I think I'm going to try and ask people, I think when we're going into the tavern renewals, if maybe, we could try and divide and conquer this investigative work. So that I think everyone has a familiarity with what is what the records are, what places have. And, they get a sense of kind of what the history is, and, then they have the information in front of them themselves, too.
So that just negates what we had said we were going to do initially, was to try to have everything compiled in the one place. So we still never mind.
Yeah, I think I'm not sure I'm completely following you, Ms. Gall, because it is in the agenda here. I guess we have an agenda for each thing. I guess we could try and put some of this information in the tracking sheet. Maybe that's a better system.
Yeah, maybe the same link that you took the time to put in an agenda could have probably been in a tracking sheet. It makes it everything, it keeps everything in order, so that you're not like, just as I was looking at the tracking sheet, which is one instrument, but then I have to go and find your agenda to pull this information.
Yeah,
But
it
I mean,
is.
I
We might
have
need. It's a lot of
agenda.
work. It's a lot of work. ABCR. It's like, there's a lot of pieces here. So it's like, yeah, I think it does. It does maybe require having an agenda up and also a tracking sheet. It might require that. It might,
Place the
might
agenda again in the
require that.
can you place the agenda in the chat so I can just pull that agenda? Because I was just looking at the tracking sheet that was placed in the,
Yes.
I
Let's see
want to
if
make
this
it,
works here.
I just want to make it all
Yeah. No, I mean, I'm also,
clean
yeah,
and
I
easy to
understand too.
buzz.
Like, I don't know exactly what you guys are looking at, especially like once you get into the weeds of these places and the businesses and the settlement agreement. And I'm like, oh, I know. I'm like, oh yeah, they're going to close at 3, but like,
Well, see, like if I clicked on this agenda, it says access denied, right? So
okay.
that
Oh,
means
you know
that
what? Because I resaved this to take my notes for the minutes. Karen Lee, is it possible to share? It's also in your email, Miss Gall. I think I emailed it to you before the meeting.
yeah,
Check your email.
I'm going to go do
Frank's
all.
hand is up, and we want to keep moving this
Point
meeting.
of order. We sort of sidetracked from the agenda item. We were talking about sliced and brewed, and we didn't close that matter. So I'll have a comment there, but I'd like to motion that we just move this conversation offline. It's complicated. We've repeated it. Can we take this offline and resolve it, behind the scenes, instead of, lots of people are on this call to participate, and, people's time is, of import. And I just like to motion that we move the conversation on how to best orchestrate this, which everybody here, every committee member finds of import, but we take it offline and resolve it there.
Yeah, thanks, Frank. I don't think we need some motion for that. I'm going to rule that we do that. So yes, we'll come conversation online. Check your emails. Agenda is sent to you. Tracking sheet is also available on the website. Back to slice and brewed, and I'm still sharing screen here, so I'm trying to find out where the slice and brewed was here. Settlement agreement, yes. So any other questions? Any other notes on slice and brewed?
Yeah, just one note, and then I'll put my hand down and put myself on mute. Uh, it's of import to my community, my neighbors, my family. Lots of people, lots of residents that live here on U Street. It's a noteworthy provision, and I thank Mr. Chair and I think our Commissioner, Mr. Barrio, who worked on this to obtain decreased operating hours to 2 and 3 a.m. This seems to be a consensus growing here within the people I speak to in my family and my neighbors that we should not be expanding operating hours because of the continuing public safety crisis we're in, along with the chaos, et cetera, et cetera. So I appreciate you guys getting the operating hours moved back here. Thank you.
Thank you, Frank. Yes. We do hear that, and we've heard that, I think, from other members too. Um, just gauging, I think Alex here and Rachel have also kind of expressed similar sentiments about that as well. So thank you. Yeah, I think we're also happy, and also kind of to also echo, I think, Miss Fields's comments sometimes about, supporting new businesses. I felt like, this was also a way to kind of support them and kind of meet them halfway, meet us halfway. And so I think we're pretty happy with the result.
And back to my initial question, I wanted to see what their violations were. I really wanted to see that. And I was
Yeah,
to see that, and
I
I didn't
think,
really
yeah,
see it because it's within context of we're looking at anytime we're looking at a particular establishment, I want to see immediately what it is that we're looking at in
yeah.
regards to, do they have any infractions? We need to see their history.
Yeah, we did vote as a committee to protest this at the last meeting where we did have the investigative report on the agenda. So that was covered at the last meeting. So I don't want to go dwell on it too much now and kind of keep things moving. I know there's a lot of information. I know there's a lot of time lengths here. But I hear you, Ms. Gall. I will try to do a better job of trying to just making sure you have all the right information in front of you. Okay. Um, yeah, so I'm gonna stop sharing screen for a second. I'm gonna find where I am. Yes, so that was DC Slice and Brewed, and the final one is Chicha Lounge. I believe we're waiting on a invite to go to a roll call hearing, and that is in Commissioner Harris's district. We hope she can attend. I believe it's for July 28th. And yeah, hopefully she can make it. Mr. Frank?
Just a quick note there, the issue at hand is an application for expanded operating hours to 6 a.m. Just an FYI, so folks on the call understand what this is also about in the 1200 block of U Street. Thank you.
Yeah. Yes, that is in the tracking sheet. Dropping the tracking sheet into the chat again. Um, yes. Oh, and then finally, we also did the commission did vote to protest the renewal for Appio. We did discuss that they had a existing settlement agreement. We do have an existing settlement agreement, but I think the committee voted unanimously to protest. And the commission also voted to protest. So we'll stay tuned for that. Actually, do we have a potential volunteer who would like to go to the roll call hearing for that?
I think I'm already going. I
Okay.
think we decided that last time.
Okay. Okay. I do think we decided that last time. Wait, I think we just kind of like verbally mentioned it, so I just wanted to confirm that's okay. So I think when we get the invite, which comes sometimes like a couple days before, we will it goes to the invite though does go to the chair of ANC1B who signs the protest, and then we can make sure that they forward it to you, Alex, and let ABCA know that you will be representing. That is, I think, all on the active protests and things we protested.
Mr. Chair.
Yes. Just one more. Ace Lounge. I'm not sure exactly what happened with that. I think they didn't attend the roll call. Yeah. Frank.
Yes, back to I believe you were just discussing Chicha and Alex Smith's attendance at the roll call, or
No, that was for Appio.
oh, Appu. Sorry. Yes. Uh, I just like to raise this issue and wondering if we might probably request a change. Maybe I'll draft a change to the SOP. We had an extensive discussion last meeting of a backup because there's too many hearings being dropped. So I think I'll probably have to draft an SOP provision.
We have lost you a little bit, Frank. Unless we've also lost me myself. I don't know. You good folks hear
Assign
me?
backups. Are you hearing me?
I lost you for a second. I don't know if
All right,
anyone
I'm
else.
sorry.
Frank, it wasn't you, Steve.
Oh,
Frank, I can jump in and answer. We have created a system on the back end to make sure that multiple people are on standby. One person is a lead, the next person is on standby. I am emailing to get the information to make sure that roll call information is ahead of time. And Miguel is also sort of on point because mainly it gets emailed to him and not the 1B box. So we have worked out a sort of back end system. If we could try that for the next couple of rounds, and if that's not working, we'll go back and revisit.
so happy to hear that, Karen. I just want to be certain because we've dropped too many and we're letting my neighbors, our community down. So this is a
We are
long-standing
aware.
issue. So thank you. I appreciate it.
Yes, we're trying to be on top of it. Frank, we're aware of it. It's just one of these unfortunate process things, right? I guess if our chair signs, then I don't even know, there's not even a time when they really send out the email, but we'll try to really just make sure things are coalesced and working out there. But we're on it. We are on it. Okay. Yes. So, yeah. Okay. All right. So let's look for active protests updates. For administrative items, meeting time. I'm going to try and stick to this this Wednesday. I did send out that poll. Please feel free to send it out. Feel free to fill it out in your email, and we'll have some feedback on that. But I'm going to try and stick to this Wednesday time going forward. We meet in August. The whole commission meets in August. I feel like every other commission has a recess, but we do meet in August. So we'll be here too for that. Well, I don't know when our next one is, but we'll meet in August. And then so the next thing is the prep for the tavern licenses in the fall. So I was very busy today doing a lot of work. I actually been very busy last week, really. I had a call with Sarah from ABCA, and I kind of gave her this information, like kind of this heads up that basically this sentiment from the committee as well as also the other commissioners that we would really want to collect our catalog, our settlement agreements that we have with the businesses, which does keep coming up. I think just trying to daylight this whole process to the committee, to the neighbors, to the commissioners itself is like a challenge. We're really trying our best here. But trying to just gather those settlement agreements and post them on the website linked with the licensee name is a big project. I did a lot of work on it today and yesterday. But just to also give a little bit of kind of what our goal is. Commissioner Fay found that ANC2B, which is like the DuPont one, they have Andrew DeFrank used to work at DDOT. They have a really good where is their they have I'm going to share their website here. And they have a really their link on their website to they have a moratoria themselves. And then they also have and you know what? I'm even just into everywhere. So this is their website, and they basically have, all the settlement agreements listed out here alphabetically, and they have the date that the settlement agreement was signed and the ABRA numbers there. So this is just, I think a couple meetings ago, like I think we didn't even know that Appio had a settlement agreement. And it's like, if we know this, or if we just have more information in front of us, I think we can, be a little bit more just I think it just so helpful. It's just helpful. It's just helpful. We can be more strategic. We can try and understand where levers to pull. We can just get more organized. We can find out which ones don't have one. It seems to be that the community wants to have settlement agreements. So, if places don't have them, we can follow up. But yeah, so basically I wanted to share this link as like this is kind of like a bit of a goal, longer term project. So I talked to Sarah on the phone about it from ABCA, and she's excited, and she's shown just very helpful. And she said, yeah, like, this is a great thing to do. Like, I support the ANCs doing this. She recommended I FOIA. So I put a FOIA request in for every settlement agreement for ANC1B from like January 2000 to July 2025, which is more than a quarter century. And I've actually been in correspondence with them today. They kind of got back to me and did say something like, well, you should probably try to search our records first online. So I spent a good bulk of today actually just kind of searching as I just was showing earlier with that website, and being able to find settlement agreements that are either with just a link to the addresses or a link to the business, and pulling those, and going to continue work this summer to try and find out really just specifically on the taverns themselves. Right? To also give some background, we heard from Director Musali at the meeting that the tavern licenses are going to have to apply to be renewed by September 30th. So September is going to be a big, busy meeting time, and October will as well. There'll probably be some runoff. So we're trying to just get ahead of that by like figuring out, hey, what are the settlement agreements? What are we working with already? I think the investigative reports are helpful as well. My personal viewpoint with the investigative reports is they don't tell that much. There's a lot of legalese about this, violation here, and maybe they paid a fine. And I think, yeah, it does help tell a picture, but I think the settlement agreement is really like that's the thing we really want to try and find. Because it's, if it's from 2008 and
I'm
it's
gonna
completely
disagree with you, just as
okay.
one who had to go through the process of protesting a bar near my house. And I will say that like getting an investigator out right now is extremely hard to do. But I leveraged the fact that there were numerous calls, even though some of the stuff didn't go through.
Hmm.
Like the number of calls is really indicative of the impact of the neighborhood, especially considering how hard it is to get a complaint properly investigated. I actually had someone come into my home and then his supervisor threw out the proved complaint the next morning. So,
Really?
yeah. Oh, yeah. No, and I've had numerous issues with a bar currently near my house, and I've not been able to get an investigator out for that one. So,
Hmm.
I was going to also speak on that as well. And the reason why I asked for that is because if you don't know where someone's history was in regards to their establishment, they tend to come in the meetings and give us a snow job as though they have never done anything. But if we don't have a good tracking history of what type of patterns of behaviors that they've had in their with the current establishment, and then also if they are a establishment owner that happens to have multiple establishments, it
Mm,
allows us to get a better picture of what to expect that they're going to do within a neighborhood. But then my main question and always a
mm,
huge concern is how we are going about enforcing these settlement agreements.
right.
We've had settlement agreements on all these establishments, and a lot of the components within the agreement has not been enforced at all. And it's not always on APCA. It has a lot to do with a lot of oversight that's done through the ANC as well. And I think that if the community has complained, then we really need to make sure that whatever clauses within their settlement agreement that they're consistently violating,
Yeah.
it's on record. And if we could ask Director Musali, I had asked one of the questions that I had put forward is to make sure that we had the contact information for all of the upcoming renewals, but also that if the community has made several complaints, if that can go towards their their investigated history. I really want to show that we
Yeah.
are doing everything we can to care about what the community is saying about any establishment, whether it's good or bad. Thank you.
Yeah. Heard. Thank you so much. Yeah, so just a couple points there. So if you weren't at the ANC1B commission meeting last, what was it now? 2 weeks ago? The July meeting, Dr. Musali was there and he answered a couple of these really key questions about the renewals. He did say that they have a plan to try and add the contact information on the renewals. He also mentioned things about investigators. He also made uh, points about just kind of their fine system that, some of these things end up being a base fine of like, $200 or something like that. So yeah, I think that is I think that the meetings are recorded and they're available on the ANC1B website. So I would, if you haven't seen that, I would go ahead and re-watch that recording of him. It was just the beginning of the meeting from like 6:30 to 7:05 or 7:10 or something like that. Because it was really informative. He did specifically mention that about the renewals too, as well, with the
Uh,
contacts.
and thank you very much. But for a point of clarification, I just wanted to make sure that I was clear that the enforcement of these settlement agreements, there's always those particular. We have the standard criteria that we have, and a lot of these establishments are consistently in violation. But
Yeah.
as Rachel had mentioned, it's difficult to get an investigator to come out, but it's
Yeah.
really easy to have the ANC commissioner write a letter to add to that establishment's record. And I think
Hmm.
that should be a part of their investigation file. That's why I'm saying
Hmm.
that. Thank
Okay.
you.
I haven't heard so much about that particularly. Some of our participants have raised their hands. Let's call on them as well. Um, okay. All right. Commissioner Barrio, we have you on the call.
Hello,
Hello.
good to be here. I just wanted to respond to Karen's point because I think it is an important topic for consideration. We have definitely been discussing enforcement and concern that these settlement agreements aren't being enforced and trying to think about what provisions can we put in place in these agreements to make them more enforceable. I this is the first I've heard of, sending a letter to ABCA to try to get it on the record. I think that's a great idea, to be honest. I think that's something we could try to do more of. But there's also competing schools of thought here. I've heard from others, such as Commissioner Harris, that really the ANC's job is not to enforce the agreements. That's ABCA's job. I do think we have an important role, though, potentially in trying to advocate for residents, advocate for the violations that we are observing, and trying to send that evidence and those concerns APCA's way to get them to enforce. So I definitely would like to explore, and I think this committee could explore passing resolutions urging APCA to take action on violations. But I do think that, we do not control enforcement, but there's ways that we can look into helping with that, that I would definitely be open to working on.
Yeah, there's a list. It's a way in which you list the conditions. You list the issues consistently that you are constantly following. That's the way the ANC carries their great weight, by listing the issues and concerns, not just something just, haphazardly. It would have to be consistent, a logging report that the ANC
Hmm.
commissioner has, and that's the way that they can use their great weight with APCA, as well as also having the commission itself, because it will be honored from the commission. The commissioner will send that to the main commission, as a collective, and then that can
Hmm.
go into the APCA records. But it has to be done consistently, especially if you have these particular opportunities, because the commission is the one who helps impose, set up the settlement agreements. So that's the part that the commission would play in that. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Gall. Calling on Mr. Chauvin now.
Yes, I would like to ask for an agenda item next time to regard and discuss what we call a cure period for a violation. There's been, to me, too liberal of license allowing a 30-day cure period. I'd like our provision looked at in our settlement agreements, and I'd like to reduce it to 2 weeks. Uh, and I'd like a discussion on this the next meeting. I'm sorry I'm bringing it up now, but it's been on my mind, and I've had discussions with folks involved on this pursuit. Thank you.
I'm not sure I understand that. Can you say that one more time?
It's a provision regarding cure of a violation. All right. There's been a sort of overly liberal license allowing for a 30-day cure if an ANC puts a operator on notice regarding a violation of the code or a settlement agreement. All right. Uh, this is the way we put the licensee and APCA on notice, and also that it should be reduced. It's a way of following, as has been raised this evening, the issue at hand and putting pressure on the operator to make changes regarding their continuing or first violation in a short order versus 30 days.
Okay.
For next meeting. Thank you. You and I can discuss offline if that works.
And is that
But
so? And
I would like to weigh in a little bit on that, Frank, before we move. I mean, I know, and I hear that that's a new agenda item, and I do know that we are trying to keep a short time period tonight. But I don't know if that's reasonable, considering you always have to look at what the issue that we're trying to abate, and then also because it could be something that may take a little bit of time. So, and I think 30 days is reasonable, unless it's something like cleaning up grease or a spill or something like that, if you're consistently in violation of that.
Yeah,
But
just a point of order. I know we're very behind, and I'd like to discuss it next month if
I
that's
mean, I have no problem personally. I'm just weighing in on that particular suggestion, and that's the reason why I'm saying what I'm saying. Okay, thank you.
Thank you. Yes, and yes, I know we are moving a little late. But these are good points. And I think thinking about this larger framework about like, yeah, what can pass a resolution to kind of suggest to get at these like larger term issues is great. To also, yeah, I think, It's also just, yeah, back up, I guess back up a second. I mean, the way it seems like, I think there's like the enforcement part of it, and then there's like, but the before we even do the enforcement part of it, and granted, like we should always be doing that or trying to better ways to do that and understand it. I think I do think we're behind in the settlement agreement part of it, and just making sure that like we need to have settlement agreements to be in order to be enforced and have clauses in them that can be enforced well by the by ABCA. And so to the point, we're going to keep trying to catalog and find settlement agreements for places for their where their tavern licenses are coming up for renewal for the next 2 months. Um, I also sent around that sheet of kind of tavern renewals, and just kind of like to kind of prep us, or kind of give a sense of it. Let's see if this is it here. Yes, okay. Okay, I'm going to share my screen again. Okay, share screen. Yeah, so this is what Sarah sent over to me in July in terms of the licenses, active licenses in ANC1B. So this is everything. I sent it over to you on email today as well, so you do have it in your email. And she was able to kind of pull if they have, brew pub, this is endorsements, the different establishments. Then I took that to just ones, which is taverns licenses. Okay, this should be more edited. You know what? I have this filter on here. Here we go. So today I was able to pull just through their portal to kind of ones that we have. So yes, I have this, and we're going to work in the next couple of weeks to try and make it more available on the website, so we have it in front of us in one place. But we have, it seemed like to me maybe half or so, a little under half had settlement agreements, half didn't. I'm still working with the FOIA office to see if more of those settlement agreements they can find them, or search in different ways. Some of them, one of them was like a group of 8. So more on this to come, but I think this was a good push so far in terms of trying to track down these settlement agreements. And also just to kind of give the committee scope. I mean, we are looking at like, roughly 80 tavern licenses that are going to be approved. This They're not approved. We could protest that, but that we will come over our review. So just kind of wanted to put this before you guys, and just kind of ask, hey, like, is there a specific way you want to, thoughts on it? Some of my thoughts are, hey, everyone, next meeting, come back, write down your top 5 bars that you hate, or like not hate, but like, the places that you think are the top biggest offenders in terms of, peace, order, and quiet, right? Garbage, noise, parking, or really, problematic concerns. Write down your top 5 or 10 ones that we can really flag, and then, we can really like target those. Some of these have a tavern license, and I think from, our knowledge, like they're more like Los Cinco Tacos. I think they might be more of just a taco place. I don't think they really are as much of like a club late night bar as some of these other places like VIP Lounge. Um, so I would like you all to, I'm going to resend this out again, but I think if you all could kind of familiarize yourself with this list, and then kind of do some homework on your own, and kind of, flag ones that are the real, like, that are you consider, or your neighbors consider to be offenders, or places where you would want to see a change, and specifically in terms of peace, order, and quiet, or it could be parking. So big lightning bolt. That would be, I think, helpful towards kind of coming up with this committee project of tackling the tavern licenses. And if you wanted to do, even something extra credit, you could plug in the information here into the ABCA website and start getting that investigate report. So, I'm trying to, okay.
Well, Chair, I want to commend you for, I know that you worked hard on that, and we see that you were putting your due diligence in on the website,
Thank you.
working with the APCA website. So I know, that's a task that we did request that we have that stuff in advance to our meetings, and I do appreciate you putting the work in. Now, my concern is if they have a settlement agreement, and are we reviewing the settlement agreements to see whether or not all of the criteria that might have been updated from 2000, because I'm sure that it's changed as we've gotten, we're in 2025, in the quarter
Yeah,
century. Some of the settlement agreement information may need to be retooled a bit, or there may be some adjustment
yeah,
or an
yeah,
amendment that needs
yeah.
to be added.
Great
So
question.
with that, and then we also know that we clearly want to ensure that each one of the establishments in the 1B area has a settlement agreement, regardless of their, especially if they're an alcohol serving establishment. Um, so what is it that you're saying? Are you saying that each one of the ones that you reviewed has all of those clauses in it? I'm not clear on how deep of a dive you did today, that's all. Or when you started doing your work.
Yeah, so yeah, well, it was a big process, big project. I think I was just trying to see if they had a settlement agreement. Most of them, as you can actually see, I'm actually a lot of them are recent, right? So a lot of them, well, there's decent amount of turnover or places. So it's like, I would say, for me, I was kind of just getting a little bit just familiar with the territory. I'd say like, 2023, like this is our template, this is our standard. That seems, pretty good. And we'll make it available for everyone to kind of review. And then, maybe another point, like we could just have committee members, you know, um, review like 5 or 6 businesses with the settlement agreement and say like, hey, uh, Rachel, can you review the settlement agreement from Flash and then and see if there's any points of clarity or any items you would like to do you think
Being that I wrote the settlement agreement for Flash, um, why don't we just how many tavern licenses are coming up? Did you scroll down? What's
yeah,
the total
80,
number? 80?
78.
How
Oh,
many active
77.
members of the committee do we have?
Right, just divide it up, right,
Yeah,
Rachel?
just by alphabet. It shouldn't, I feel personally that like
Okay.
if we're gonna be reviewing these things, we shouldn't be doing by like, I don't like this one, so I'm gonna be looking for it. No,
Right, right, right.
it
Yeah.
should be like a neutral process where it's just divvied up so that there's less bias in the process.
I agree 1000% with that.
Um,
We should
and
have a criteria. We should
and
know.
I actually feel like uproar I think is coming up for review and like
Mm.
um I don't know that I should be involved in that review, right? Like if there's something that like it should be that way if I'm bringing it up later, it's for neutral reasons other than the fact that they have a record. I don't know if that makes sense.
Well, you should recuse yourself from the ones that you
That's
know
what I
that
mean.
you
Yeah.
are completely absorbed by, and so
Yeah.
that there's no biases that's used in that case, even though we know people have their biases. But I think if we're going to look at it from a committee perspective and helping and assisting the chair with the work, then we should at least divide it up. Just take divide how many people we have, 7 on the committee, divided by 8, or we 80,
Yeah.
we divide it, but the first part, we should recuse ourselves from ones that we're just deeply involved with, as Rachel mentioned,
Yeah.
so that it's no, we're not,
Okay.
Or if we're
but I
planning on protesting it,
yes,
that's
ma'am. And
more,
Yeah.
yeah.
also, I think that we should first have a standard criteria on what it is that we're looking for. So we're not just looking at it with the lens. We're looking at it with the same lens of, equity lens for all of them.
Mhm,
That's
mhm.
it.
Okay. Yeah, I think that's great. I think it's a great idea. I think that's great. I think we make that happen.
Can we have, and I'm sorry for interrupting, can we
Please.
have you just send out an email? Because there's people that are not on this meeting.
Yeah.
That you or
It's
Karen,
Karen.
the other Karen, send out an email with who's assigned to which.
Yeah.
That
I-
way the people who aren't on the meeting are like,
Should
okay,
we
We
should
can
we
have a
motion
spreadsheet.
should we
I
motion
was just about to
this?
do that. I was just about to do that, Chair.
Okay.
I think, Rachel, I think if we had a spreadsheet but I wanted to be real specific with the motion, Chair, that we create a spreadsheet with because the goal is to find out who has a settlement agreement that is current, utilizing a criteria that is agreed upon by our committee in regards to looking at at this at this particular any of the establishments, and with that we divide it up. So my motion is that we, as a committee, I moved that as a committee that we look at the current listing of renewable establishments that are coming up, and we will all take a look to see if they have a settlement agreement and whether or not the settlement agreement meets the criteria that we are looking for the ANC1B community collectively. That's my motion. Is that clear enough, Rachel?
for sure.
Thank you.
Do I hear a second?
I'll second it.
Any other discussion on the motion? In terms of criteria, do we want to pin down something? I mean,
Should I say the current criteria that we have for all settlement agreements: peace, order, and quiet, cleanliness, rat abatement, and you said parking issues, and I'm just trying to go through the list.
yeah, I
Peace,
think,
order, quiet, the standard criteria that we've been using for at least for this term,
yeah,
because we instituted rat abatement and the debris and grease and power washing. We did
yeah.
that.
One and before calling Frank, but one thing to also I think note is just making sure the settlement agreements have been updated to the kind of new establishment. I think if it's like if it's someone signs on to it, I mean, even though the settlement agreement is with the the address, I think it might be beneficial. It might be worth it to go through the process of trying to update that settlement agreement if there's a new business owner or new licensee name who's trying to take
Exactly.
over the placard too. Even if that original settlement agreement meets those standards, it might be also worth it to consider just making sure that the information is up to date as well.
Yes, sir. And also, because if the license was in storage, or if they had it in reserve, and it could just, we just need to make sure that that establishment is under an active agreement, which I'm assuming that most of them on this list that you gave us is, right?
Yeah, yeah. You can even well, except for one, I believe this one here isn't safekeeping. But yes.
Yeah, I'd like to
And
add,
Frank.
I will not be voting for this motion. Everything being discussed tonight has been discussed every meeting for the last 5 years. I'd like to see it in writing. I'd like to see it correctly enunciated so that it serves our interests, so we don't keep going in circles, and so that we do it right. And so I'd like to see it in writing before I vote on anything. And I'd like it to be inclusive. I'd like it to be articulate, and I like to be final for from this discussion held for at least for the last year and 2 and 3 and 5 since I've been here. So I will not be voting and ask for a motion that it be in writing and we consider it at a subsequent meeting.
Okay. Just to clarify, I believe that the motion is to create a spreadsheet to really find out who has a settlement agreement and kind of divide up that workload. So just I
This
think
is the
that
first time we've taken on this particular task, Frank. We've discussed a lot of things in circles, but this is the first time we've taken on the task to decide to collectively divide things up to assist the chair.
yeah.
Yeah, I'm not agreeing to collectively do anything till I see it in writing. I mean, I just, everyone does their job, everyone commits volunteer time, and I'd like to see something in writing. I think it's important enough. And this task list is not new. We've had one for my 6 years. Does it drop at the end of terms of commissioners? Yes. Chairmanships? Yes. However, I think perhaps it's an SOP addition too. So it becomes part of our protocol. That's quite outstanding. I mean, this is not a new committee. This is not a new subject matter. This is not
Mm.
new to U Street and our commission and this committee. So again, that's my last word on this. I will not be voting in favor. I'd like to see a motion in writing. Thank you.
I I've had we've had a running task list for this commission for quite some time, and I see it as an updated spreadsheet because I know that I have spreadsheets for going back eons for this commission. But I understand what you're saying. But in the meantime, the reason why this motion was brought forward is because the chair has given us a task to do some research, and we want to make sure that we make light work by using multiple hands to help. So I am standing on this motion that I brought forth that was also properly second. So it's up for discussion, but we understand your reason. Thank you.
Frank, you're muted, but just a quick class, like what in writing would you want to see?
I want to see an SOP enunciating what's going on here because since I've been here, and at least more loudly for the
Mm.
last couple of years, I want administrative help to get things done because everybody's busy. Everything falls through the crack. And we've discussed these points about what should be exhibited at a meeting when we have a license, when we have an application for new, when we have renewal, when we have a expanded operational request, an endorsement. And so I find it to be, long outstanding and long overdue, and it should be done right. And whether or not that's me and all of my colleagues here doing this work or the commission and its resources of, I don't know how much is in the bank, but quite a bit doing this work. So my last point on that, thank you very much.
Okay. I'd like to call a vote. All in favor of this motion, please raise your hand.
And just to clarify, the motion is to have Karen write up and divvy up this list and send out instructions on how to.
Yeah, Karen Lee and or myself work to divide up the list and send out instructions to the committee, every active member to work to on the spreadsheet to find out who has an SA and write to, and they kind of meets the criteria as Karen mentioned with the peace, order, and quiet, and other things we've also mentioned, Greece and things as well.
I'm raising my hand in favor, not to talk.
Okay. All right. Oh, okay. All right. So that is actually 3 yays. Um, uh, then all against, all opposed.
I am opposed.
Okay, it's 1 opposed. So the motion passes with 3 yays and 1 nay. Great. All right, we'll work on this. Then after. Okay. All right. Well, we definitely went past 8. It's almost at 30. I'd like to turn now to the new business. We have 2 placards here. Again, they are in the agenda. First one is for Unity. This is a change in hours. Going to bring it up here. Oh, it's my screen. So this is a 1936 9th Street. For Unity, they requested change in hours and also live indoor entertainment. So they would like live indoor entertainment. They also change in hours. They currently close kind of in line with what we had in that settlement agreement with Slice and Brew, DC Terrace for weeknights 2 a.m. and weekends 3 a.m. They now, oh, yes, yeah. So now they are proposing to go till 6 a.m. The alcohol beverage will not change. Also asking for a live indoor entertainment. Reached out to the owner. Actually, their email returned back a error send. I believe they might own something else. I believe they've talked to him before. He might be the owner of Chicha Lounge as well, or at least the representative. Yeah, does anyone have any thoughts as a commission on this placard? Let's call on Alex.
Oops, sorry.
Just speaking for a lot of the adjacent neighbors is a lot of especially with a concern around the entertainment being extended into the late night hours, is that these the Ninth Street bars and clubs are very close to residential homes. Often in both of these are kind of like historic, both the clubs and the homes are historic residential houses, not with the same sound insulation as much modern construction. And there's this really significant noise problem impacting the neighbors. And so I would, we're not at motions yet, but I think there would be a lot of unhappiness, both from myself and from many neighbors, about kind of any sort of extended operating hours well into 6 a.m.
Thanks, Alex. Go with this call.
From a public safety perspective, I move that we protest against that. I do not agree with anything going up until 6 a.m. The 3 a.m. is a push. So anything between 3 a.m. to 6 a.m. is unreasonable for the neighborhood and also unreasonable for public safety purposes. Thank you.
We hear a second, and then Frank, we'd like to jump in with you for the discussion part of it, if there is a second.
I
So I hear
second.
hear a second. Frank, I'd like to call to you for discussion parts.
Yes, I agree with all of the aforementioned notes by my colleagues, and I am quite, happy about the tone that this conversation is taking in all seriousness, because it is a serious matter. And, my neighborhood spent 3 years looking for a moratorium. It doesn't make things better, a moratorium. It stops it from getting worse. And these other measures that we're taking here in this discussion and in these protests are important to the balanced relationship between the operators and the residences. So there is a deep ongoing and unabated chaos, disorder, and public safety remains deeply on top of the entire District of Columbia area highlighted on the crime cards. Lots of crime being reported. It's unacceptable, and we need to do everything we can. This is one small measure, protesting the hour, not allowing operators to operate after 3 a.m. The Nightlife Task Force is not staffed enough to manage U Street and North Shaw before existing 3 a.m. hours, and therefore after 3 a.m. operating hours should not be on the table. MPD staffing is at a 50-year low, and the force is already taxed. MPD is already taxed with required overtime hours in service just to keep their heads upon the water. They're burning out. There's not enough people to help enforce reduction of chaos,
Thank you.
disorder,
Yeah.
and public safety. Yeah, I have another two comments. MPD's informed us that they are understaffed serving U Street before 3 a.m., and it would be further complicated and problematic to patrol if alcohol licensee operations extend past 3 a.m. Two more comments. The ABCR director, Musali, has recently chimed in on the post 3 a.m. operating hours. And generally, he said that unless they're a diner, he doesn't quite understand what they're doing. Why would be extending hours? So I was quite surprised to hear them. This is a public call on the ABCA ANC1B's monthly meeting last week. It's on recording, that
Yeah.
exact sentiment. And then I think that's my final statement. Thank you.
Thank you. Yeah, it's a lot of fact testimony there. But yes, I think it seems like the committee is gets that. Yeah, I'm just wondering, I mean, like, is this something like basically should we just take everything like Frank just said and put it in like in a resolution and try and like be like no more places to 6 a.m.? Like, is that even, does that have any weight to APCA or something? I mean, it just seems like there's a couple of places now. It's kind of like a whack-a-mole game where it's like Chicha Lounge and then Ace Lounge, and now this one, and like it might even be the same owner or he's like, representative of them. But I'm just kind of wondering, like, is there also like a larger, is there like a more strategic way to go about this other than just kind of protesting them individually, which, seems like we want to do. But yeah,
As
any,
Scott,
since
my
I
hand's
brought
up.
forward, I brought forward the motion, the discussion. I was assuming that the chair was asking me if I was adjusting my motion.
oh, sorry, I was not. I was thinking more strategically. Let's go back to this motion and then maybe you could talk about it after. But unless Frank, you want to have a burning specifically on the motion itself.
No. Thank you. It's the subsequent discussion you raised that I would like to chime in on. So thank you. I will lower my hand.
Okay. All right. So let's call a vote to this motion. That Ms. Gall introduced to protest this placard on peace, order, and quiet, and chimed in
And
by
public safety.
and public safety, chimed in by our whole committee,
No,
essentially.
that's correct.
All in favor?
Quick amendment. Can we say in all applicable grounds? We sort of utilize that just in case we're missing something that comes up during what you might call discovery of facts and their operations that we don't know at this point,
Okay.
including trash, if that wasn't mentioned.
Well,
So
it was actually, I hit all applicable grounds, Frank,
Okay.
in my motion,
thank
but I just thought that the chair wanted me to add some more to it when he was making.
That's great. That sounds great. That sounds great. I think we can, yes, we can add the all applicable grounds part. All in favor?
Hold on, there's a question. There's questions in the audience.
Oh,
that
I
we
can't see
might
that. Sorry, I
answer.
guess I'm sharing screen. Okay. Oh, yes. Commissioner Barrio, you still have your hand up. I don't know if you're also trying to say something. We have Zoe Liu also on the call.
Yes. Hi, everyone. Thank you. Thank you so much for allowing me to speak. I know I'm not a commissioner, but I am a resident of the 1900 block so of 9th Street, like in the moratorium zone. And I do support and echo, I think, the concerns that have been raised by Frank and Karen. And something I do want to add to why protesting this would be important, and I think this echoes sentiment from Alex, is that it is already starting to impact property values. In my building alone, I think between 12 to 18 months ago, one of our units had issues maintaining a tenant because of the noise from neighboring lounges. And so 2 different leases were broken. And then eventually they had to sell their condo at a $100K loss. And then more recently, so like this sales occurred in the last 45 days, another unit, not in our building, but on the block, sold at almost a 400K loss. And this is pretty significant because 9.5 Street, which backs into Unity Lounge, also has a pretty active neighborhood association. And not to mention, there's also the Fold that's like located on that corner of U and 9.5 Street, where they are, I believe, mostly owner occupied units, but there might be a few owners that rent their units, and they will face the same issue. And then across the street from them in that little alley, there's a new apartment building. I forgot the name, but they're also trying to attract residents. So, so something to consider is like the trash is definitely a bit of an issue. And I've noticed that in the last year, the city has, so they have someone who routinely sweeps the sidewalks in the morning, but they've now added the use of street sweeping machines. So in addition to a street sweeper, they'll have a machine that comes by, like the ones, you know, like when you have street sweeping, you have to move your car, those same machines will come through. So that is how bad trash has become.
This is an alley
This is no, on 9th Street.
on Ninth Street. Okay.
On 9th Street itself.
Oh.
They do come up and down the street. And there was one weekend they didn't come, and you could tell like the accumulation was pretty bad. So this is definitely so
I'm glad they are coming. Yeah.
they are coming, but like when they skip, it is an issue. And I flag this because my condo building is frequently a target of DPW. And even though we do our best to maintain trash, etc., and we've even pushed back, they still like their stance is like, we don't care, this is your problem. And so this will just continue to become a problem that spills over into residents. And this is an area that is growing residentially. So I just wanted to add that as you consider this. I don't know if like property value is outside your purview, but sales are public records. So you can actually look up like initial purchase price and then like more recent sales price. But I think the 400K loss was very significant since one of my neighbors is considering listing their unit in the next month or so. And so I share that info to just say like, look, you might want to consider trying to rent if you can, if you can't, you know, write off a 400K loss. Anyway, thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Liu, for your comments and your testimony here. And can you remind us if it's okay to know which building, which side of the street you live in?
I forgot which direction, but we are adjacent to Cloud Lounge.
Okay.
So our address is 1923 9th Street.
Okay.
I also just wanted to say hi to Karen. I haven't seen you in a year, but I used to go to your 3D MPD meetings regularly.
Look, I remember you, Zoe. Hi, how are you doing?
I know you do. I just wanted to say
Nice to see you again. But I do I do think that when we say all applicable grounds, what my interest when I made the motion was to cover the public safety, to cover the trash and public safety. It can seem broad, but we're highly concerned about any of the outliers that happen when you have a establishment that breaks out at a time period between 3 a.m. and 7 a.m. that people are
Yep.
going through any type of issues as they're navigating, trying to get home from these locations. And it's been a really it's a crisis in our area.
Mhm.
And so
Point-
I didn't
mhm.
want to over belabor a particular point that everyone should have understood what that
Yeah.
meant.
Point
But
noted. We
thank
have
you,
one.
Ms.
We
Zoe.
have one more participant with their hand raised, and then I'd like to go back to to call the vote on the motion. Call to vote the motion. So we're gonna promote Chris to speak here.
Hey there, I'm Chris Schriever. I live in the 900 block of T Street, and I just want to add to that comment that was just made on 2 points, actually. I just ran into a neighbor this evening who is at 939 T Street, and their home has been on the market since the beginning of the spring, and they're on the corner of T where the alley comes out, and they've been having trouble selling it. And one of the key factors that they come into is that it is on the alley. It's on the alley, which is a loud and boisterous place, which is the comment that they keep getting from potential buyers. Two, the other factor is that it is also a dirty alley and that it is filled with trash at the end of a weekend. Another comment that they're getting. And one factor there is prior to COVID, this alley was swept regularly on weekends. We had a street sweeper that came through 9.5 Street. It went all the way through to T Street. We have not seen that lovely little street sweeper since. I have brought this up with Nadeau's office to no avail. It does not get acknowledged. We've not seen it. But much like the rest of the neighborhood, when we have people that come to the neighborhood to party, it is filled with trash at any point in time. 9th Street is now getting serviced, but we would love for 9.5 Street to get that same love. 9.5 Street does not get street sweeping at any point in time. It pays the same taxes. Those of us who live on it, those of us that abut it, but it does not get street sweeping. So this is not the place for that. I understand that, but it is a part of the conversation, and those that have trash service impact it. And this establishment is one of those.
Thanks, Chris.
That's all.
And
Mr.
Mr.
Chauvin,
Chair, I have a point of order.
okay.
I'd like to have the motion spelled out or iterated because I'm concerned, and maybe I just overlooked it. I don't hear peace, order, and quiet, and these are specific terms defined in the code that I need in this resolution. And so perhaps they're in there. I just haven't, focused
I
enough.
believe they are implied to
That
be
was
in
the
there.
first part of the motion, Frank.
Okay, I'm happy
That was
to
the
repeat
very
it
first
before we
part of
vote
the
on it,
motion.
please.
Okay,
The
I'll
motion-
repeat it. I'll repeat it. So the motion is to protest this substantial change on the grounds of peace, order, and quiet.
Thank you.
Especially with nods to public safety, especially nods to garbage on 9th Street, 9th and T Street, and all applicable grounds, which includes neighborhood property values. This is the motion. Like to all in favor, please raise your hand, zoom hand. Okay. 2, 3, yep. 4. All right, so that's unanimous. The motion passes. Votes 4 yeas to protest. Great. Thank you so much. All right, I think we'd like to move to our last item. Thank you, Zoe and Chris, for attending and your testimony and joining us today. Our last item, I believe, is another placard is a request for a summer garden for SOST, SOST 1901 9th Street Northwest. I believe Representative Mr. Jackson is here. Has been here for probably longer than he thought he might have to be, but Mr. Jackson, thank you for joining us and staying on the call.
No problem. Could you hear me?
Yes, I will take off. I don't know 2 people, but I'm good.
Yes, I have the owner available also as well.
Thank you. Oh, great. Yes. So
And did you see the Chairman, did you see the pictures I emailed you? So I don't know if you're able to display them.
oh, okay. Yes, I do see this now. Okay.
So you can get a idea as to exactly.
Okay. All right. I hope this is it. Share screen, this one. Okay, this is from Mr. Jackson. Just sent this over. Oh wow, this is kind of fancy actually. All right, okay. It's definitely given something here.
Well, the summer garden, if you blow it up, the summer garden is just the outside portion of that inner portion. So it only seats like about no more than 12 people, about 9 people, 9 to 12 folks.
Okay, can you give us a little more context in terms of what this establishment is? Is it existing? Is it open already?
Oh yeah, it's open. Yeah, it's open.
Okay.
1901 9th Street. Yep.
Okay.
Coffee shop, bar and lounge. Yep.
And this is Sam Abibi, the owner of the.
Yeah, own it right.
Yeah.
It's just right there off the corner.
Yeah, it's a new venue that opened. It's a restaurant, coffee shop, speakeasy. It's 4 levels. We're open since coffee time 9 a.m. And we serve food. And this portion is the extension of the mezzanine. It's a small balcony that we're trying to get approved for summer garden.
And summer garden would mean tables, or what exactly would that mean again?
Yes, tables and chairs.
Okay. And then I'm going to stop share because I want to bring up the placard itself. Rachel, raise your hand.
I'm wondering about hours, if there's going to be entertainment in the area just inside of it, if the door is going to be left open during working hours, or if the door will be closed most of the time, those sorts of details that could impact the neighbors with sound.
Right. There's no entertainment on the summer garden area.
And the doors stay closed. So just people, when they go in and out, will be the only time it will be open.
Do we, in the settlement agreement, I know some settlement agreements have stipulations about doors remaining closed except when people are entering and exiting. I just want to make sure that that's in the actual settlement agreement. I live next to a place where if the door gets left open, it can become overwhelming. So,
Rachel, there is no settlement agreement.
okay. Then I'd like
And to
to,
be honest with you, when a club leave doors open, that's a violation anyway.
yep.
So to
If
put
it's
that
in
in
the
the
settlement
settlement
agreement,
agreement,
yeah.
yeah.
I just want to make sure it's in the actual settlement agreement.
They're a brand new establishment. They just opened up, Rachel.
Yeah, when we write it.
Right.
I guess I'm just a little confused. I feel like I don't recall ANC would be reviewing a placard for this new application. Like, shouldn't have that have come in
Mis-
first?
It's not a new
Mr.
application. They've
Chair,
been open for about 2 years now.
Mr. Chair, this is one that the ANC dropped because nobody showed up at the roll call. So that's why there is no settlement agreement.
Oh, okay. Thank you.
Yeah, they've been open for about,
Mr.
matter of
Chairman.
fact, maybe more than 2 years.
Okay.
No, 6 months. We've been open for 6
Oh,
months.
Yeah,
6 months.
I Google on December 2024, and
Right.
it was still closed. Okay, all right. Well, that's
Yeah,
good
we just approved
information
like
to
2
know.
years ago.
Okay. Okay. Well, that's good information. Thank you both for coming on. I know it kind of was the last minute. And thank you for showing us this photo. Yeah, it seems like it's a well built out establishment. I'm hearing some I don't want to speak for the committee, but how does the committee feel about this?
It's a nice
Yes,
establishment. Go ahead, Frank.
thank you. I'd like to say that this is at the very edge of a 1,000 lot residential area. All right, this is the contiguous area to 1,000 homes or two flat homes with two apartments. There's a few 3 apartment units. Right next door, contiguous, sharing the lot, are about 5 residential units on T Street, sharing the lot line. Across the street on the other side of 9th Street, this is the northeast corner of 9th Street, the applicant in front of us. And across the street on the west side of 9th Street, we have about 15 residential homes. All right. I live a half a block from here. I don't want to be disturbed because I'm disturbed enough because of too much noise and activity in the neighborhood. So I am very precisely monitoring this and precisely needing things from any agreement regarding use, because these nice roof deck you're talking about, this summer garden, will be on the front of the building, facing lots of residential homes that will be very effective. And so, therefore, I support a protest. I don't know whether my neighbors, and I'd like to see what the applicant has done with maybe 30 neighbors that are pretty contiguous and their outreach before I say that they should have limited operating hours. But that's where I stand at the moment. Thank you.
Alex, you have this?
Thanks. Yeah, I just have a
Actually,
question.
Alex, I'm sorry, Chair, but I had started speaking
I
when Frank
know
was speaking, and I don't want to.
Alex hasn't raised his
And I
hand
think
so much, hasn't had
Alex.
so much speaking time, and I wanted to call on him.
Okay, thank you.
I just had a question for the applicant about, because it's really interesting to hear, like, so it's 9 a.m. it starts as a coffee shop and then goes through the different kind of functions. What on the mezzanine and the summer garden, I just pulled up, noticed the proposed hours are till 2 a.m. on weekdays, 3 a.m. on the weekends. is this summer garden part of the like, I guess the bar lounge function of Soest rather than the coffee shop function of Soest?
No, it isn't. There's no bar on the Summer Garden.
Yes, so that floor is usually for diners, and we've had like some private events there. We've had like wedding proposals and stuff like that on that floor. It's a dining area, and usually people just want to like take a fresh air there, and we are not planning on playing any music or anything like that. And we're open. Our operation, all floors are open. We have 4 floors. Speakeasy, the cafe is on the first floor, and this is part of the restaurant, the mezzanine, and the summer garden part.
Ms. Cole?
And it's only big enough for 12 people.
I actually, and Alex, I'm glad you did ask the question similar to what I was going to ask because of the layout of this location. The speakeasy where your bar is down in the basement area. Am I correct?
Correct.
And because it's like a community center type coffee area just generally during the day. I think what it is that and I think for clarity, because Rachel brought the point in regards to it being open at 9 o'clock, it's because it's a general like maybe I think what the committee needs to hear is exactly a little bit more information about SOS and how it's operated so that we can understand that it's what you all do per se. I think that information would be very, really, really important. And as Mr. Jackson had mentioned, that it's only 12 people outside during the day if the weather permits. So could you all tell us a little bit more about your establishment, please? Thank you.
Yes,
Yeah.
thank you for that. So SOST stands for three in Amharic, which stands for three separate concepts, which is the restaurant, coffee shop, and the speakeasy. So we are open all day long. We serve breakfast, lunch, and dinner. Today we have like a children painting hours early in the morning, and we do have African diaspora cuisine, which is our restaurant part, and mezzanine is part of the restaurant, and it's a small, like 7 feet deep, that summer garden part, and the location, the neighbors have been coming. We've had we had a meeting with Westminster. Our ANC sent out a newsletter inviting all of our neighbors to come. We have a Friday Federal Workers Day. It's a community space to bring all our neighbors to dine and for coffee and for drinks and everything. So, like Karen said, it's a community space mostly. That's what we do.
Mr. Chauvin?
Yes. Few things. I'm going off a little bit off the point, but it has to do with club operations. Often I maybe am near the front of my house where I can hear screaming. I come out and I see crowds in front of your operation at 1901 9th Street. And unfortunately, and I'm so saddened for the 3-unit building that sits right next door to you that has a T Street address, but it's one of the contiguous residences that I've described in my last comment. And I see a crowd of people. I don't think that there's much organizing going on or door front activity protecting the adjacent residential neighborhood, including explicitly the contiguous 3-unit building. I feel so bad for this owner who's having a hard time keeping tenants. And so this is a major matter. I'll save that for further discussions with the applicant, as since there is no current settlement agreement. And additionally, that I can even hear the crowded people because I open my door and I see a crowd and I see them screaming in front of this location and in front of the adjacent residential unit that I described on 9th Street that has an T Street address at the corner.
Thank you.
So that's points very important to discussion and continuing discussions. But secondly, I cannot sit 1/2 block from here and have a 2 a.m. A 12 person, 18 person. I don't know how we'll control the numbers, but I'd like to see, is there a certificate of occupancy for this space? Has it been granted by DOB? And is the number on there 12? And also, can we ensure that they are all seated and nobody's standing?
Yes. Now, first of all, I don't know exactly what night you're speaking of or the people screaming, but I don't know if it's nightly you speaking of, or I don't know if it's from individuals that's attending that location. So, and also with the Summer Garden area, as we stated before, there's not no music out there. It's just people out there in the opening. We're in the process of obtaining. We're not using that Summer Garden at the present time, but we are in the process of getting a certificate of occupancy for the use
Sir,
of that.
there has been visual photograph use of that area in violation of the law. My neighbors have sent them to me. So please be clear and articulate with what's going on.
Thank you, Frank. I had to call Alex as his hand raised here. And to confirm, Jeff, is there's no, can you send us the certificate of occupancy when that comes in?
Of course.
Thank you.
Because
Alex?
it has to also be sent to Abra.
Right. Alex?
Yeah, I'm just want to make sure I understand. This would be, it sounds like seating for tables and chairs. This is primarily for like the rest, it sounds like this is outdoor seating for the restaurant portion. And if so, I'm wondering if the applicant would be amenable to kind of changing the hours to be more aligned with mealtime hours for
Of
their
course. Matter of fact,
proposal.
we're in agreement to negotiating the hours to coincide with the other hours of the other areas of the Summer Gardens in the area. So yeah, we're not, hard stuck on 2 a.m. We open.
Right. Yeah, I'm just thinking if it's restaurant, I don't know how late your dinner service is, but if it could match that I think would give more confidence to people in the neighborhood that, yeah, this outdoor area is being used for diners eating and not necessarily used for club goers contributing to like a noise pollution problem in the neighborhood.
I totally understand. Like I said, we open.
Thank you. This is great discussion. I'd like to quickly, we're right on 9.
Sure.
Frank, I'll give you 30 seconds here.
Sure, thank you. I would like to sort of iterate for the record that it's important to me as a very close resident, very involved on this issue, and as a matter of fact, very off put by the chaos and disorder that has been allowed to grow in my front yard. So I'm very committed to making sure this is done right. First of all. Second of all, I remain concerned that I ask actually the applicant, Mr. Jackson, and the owner of Soest, if you can go and survey the 35 contiguous residences and determine a good relationship with them and find out if they understand what's going to go on and undertake their consent to some reasonableness in this. And that's what I'm asking before I commit to specifics.
Thank you, Frank.
Yeah, and like I say, we have a very good relationship with our immediate neighbors. There are like 3 actual properties, and even for you guys, you're more than welcome to come in and take a look at it and see our operation and everything as well.
It's good to know. Do I hear a motion regarding this placard request for this summer garden?
I'll motion. I'd like to protest the application for expanded summer garden endorsement at 1901 9th Street, Soest, on the grounds of peace, order, quiet, trash, litter, public safety, and all applicable grounds.
Do we hear a second?
I can second that.
Thanks, Alex. All right, I believe we've discussed this thoroughly. All in favor of this motion, please raise your Zoom hands. Maybe visual steps away. All opposed. All abstaining. Great, thank you all. Okay, so the motion passes with two yays, 2 abstentions. To protest on the grounds of peace, order, quiet. So most mentioned with garbage and litter, and all applicable grounds. I believe Frank. This is you're muted, Frank.
Thank you. I'm sorry. Did you count 2 abstentions? Because I'm not certain Rachel is still with us, and she voted either way.
I did vote to abstain just because I do think that a negotiation needs to happen on it. And that wasn't part of the vote. It was just to protest, and I think protest in the intention of working with the owners to ensure that if they do open a summer garden, that all of the needs of the community are met through conversation with the neighborhood and with the ANC. So
I'd just like to add there, Rachel, I appreciate your statement on your abstention. However, a protest is in fact everything you've said. So I'm not certain where the genesis of your abstention.
I don't think
Abstention.
they talked
Okay.
down to you.
Yeah,
I
yeah.
didn't know.
Yeah.
All
Let's
right.
keep a
You
good
don't-
tone.
you
It's been late.
didn't lose the vote, so we can talk offline if you want.
Yes, I'll make a note that I
That'd be
think we
great.
need to
Thank you.
just clarify these processes and these terminology. But also thank you, appreciate the votes and the abstentions, and everyone participating here. It is 9 o'clock. Thank you, Mr. Jackson, and the owner of Soest. I don't know if you caught your name, but we will. Sam.
Okay.
Yeah, yes.
Sam, thank you.
Okay.
Mr. Jackson, it would be a good point of contact on email for
Yes. Yep.
potential for negotiations
Of course.
or something. I think we would like to reach a settlement agreement with you, and we're glad that you guys
No
are open,
problem.
potentially
We
even
can
a
work
tour
something
or
out.
something. Thank you. All right.
Okay.
Thank you for coming tonight. Have a good evening.
Thank you. Do the same.
Thank you, Sam. Okay. All right. Well, it is 9 o'clock. That is our meeting agenda we've run through. Thank you for being here. Votes to protest both of these items, which is good. And I think I think Frank has already hand up. Frank, last item.
The last item is an item that we discussed, and it's item of deep import, and it has to do with what we should do regarding the consensus of the committee and potentially as a recommendation or motion to the full ANC about no operating hours past 3 a.m. This has been, I've watched some video from the ANC, and there's absolutely discussion on this matter. And I think the genesis coming from this committee as approving such a motion, not engaging in any agreements that for exceeding operating hours that exceed past 3 a.m. within the moratorium zone, at least, if not 1B. And so I'd like to potentially have that conversation next month.
Thank you. I will add that as an item for next month's meeting. Any other final comments, questions, complaints? I think that's it. I think one other topic is I think ANC1B would like to do kind of a week, half year check-in with the committee members. So I might be reaching out to you all individually to kind of just check in to see how you're doing and thanking you for participating and joining these calls. So that might be coming on soon. But anyway, one other thing we thought that I think I had a good call, and I'm glad we had the business owner on and some neighbors hearing their testimony too. So I think it was pretty productive. I will try to get these notes out by maybe by the end of the week or early next week. And then we have an August commission meeting, and I don't exactly know what our next meeting is, but we're gonna keep this Wednesday. Unless everyone polls differently, they might do something else. But yeah, I think that's it for now. I'm gonna motion to adjourn. Thank you all. Stay dry. And enjoy the rest of your summer. Or well, keep enjoying your summer and see you in August. Thank you.
Bye.
Good evening. Bye.